is very easy to make, and I will show you how now. We need a food processor to do it, and the only thing that takes a little time is to pit the dates. Use a paring knife, open it, remove the pit, the stone they're called, and then after that just cut them up into little smaller chunks. Don't cut yourself, so that they'll grind in the more evenly in the food processor. Instead of using sugar, of course we're using, and if they have a calyx on it like this, a little hard thing, then you remove that. You don't want that in there. That'll be a surprise for your teeth if you try to bite into that. There's another calyx on there, so break it off. Sometimes the dates are a little softer. I noticed this one that I pitted for you is a little softer, but still cuts nicely if you have a sharp knife. Now what we do is we put this in the food processor after we do some nuts. Now we have walnuts here. You could do it with pecans if you prefer pecans. Put about a cup of nuts in there, and we want to just break them up a little bit. So what we'll do is do this. We'll do the pulsation again. And I got the large chunks. You see it is smaller. Some of them are big, but they're going to get reduced to smaller chunks still. I'm going to put the dates in here. And you can use a clump of butter or some melted butter. And use about a tablespoon. It helps keep it all together. Okay, now this is much heavier. This is probably, you're looking at 7 pounds with the ingredients in there. So you just have to use a little bit more force when you're handling the food processor by turning it like I do. Okay, now what we're going to do is grab a pie plate, put a little butter in here. So I'll take a piece of butter, put it in there, and I will rub it around. So that it doesn't stick, the ingredients won't stick to the pie plate. I like a lot of butter, so it doesn't matter. I like the taste of butter, especially in cheesecake. So, see, that's pretty well coated all along the sides. Okay, then what we do is dump crust into the pie plate, and we're going to press it down into the pie plate. Now if you're making a pie instead of a cheesecake, you'll push this up around the sides too. But a cheesecake usually just has a thick crust on the bottom, so that's all we're going to do here. And if you're pressing it and you want to make it, all you do is just press it like this, all up, and keep bringing it up the sides for a pie. Again, this is a cheesecake, so we'll just have a bottom. And some people like it thinner and some people like it thicker. If you like it thicker, then only use about half a cup of nuts instead of a whole cup. Make sure it's pressed compact so it's nice and tight. Okay, there's our crust. You see how thick it is? It's probably about about 3/8 of an inch, or not quite, maybe 1/4 of an inch thick. Makes a nice crust. Now, right now it's very wet, but when we refrigerate it, it will harden. Now we're going to make the fill, and that is, we're going to use butter, almost a cup of butter, and we're going to use an egg. We've got a big egg here. You know, cheesecake has egg in it, make it nice and rich and delicious. And then cheese. So we're going to slice the cheese so it will blend easily. Now this cheese has been out of the refrigerator for about 7 hours, so it's room temperature, so it'll blend very easily. If it doesn't blend easily, it's a lot of work. If it's very soft, like this is in room temperature, it will blend easily, and the job is quick. Remember, if it's cold, it will cause the butter to harden. And if the butter is hard, it won't blend properly. Now we're going to put a little honey in this. I'll use about a tablespoon. Now the dates in the crust is where it's going to have most of its sweetness. And then we're going to have a blueberry topping, and we'll have a lot of sweetness in that, so we don't have to get carried away in the fill. We need the fill to taste like a cheesecake and not necessarily a sweet dish. So now I'll put the blender blades on top. Again, the washer on first, and the blades inside and on top of the washer. Screw this on. Now it's pretty full, so I don't really have to shake down too much. And we have the blender again. Blender will go on. Now we want to do this fast speed from the beginning, so we go on high here and high here. See hear how hard that motor is working? If you have it on low, you'll burn it up and it'll stink. You'll burn your motor inside. One thing you could do is, while this is blending, I'm going to blend a little bit more because it's not mixed evenly enough. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator so this will harden a little bit more. So what I did was I stuck that in the freezer so that the crust will firm. There's a little bit of butter in it, and the butter will firm it, and of course chilling will harden anything. And we don't want to leave it in there long enough to freeze, only about 10 minutes as we make this. So again, I'm going to turn it on high. Now, if that happens, if it lifts off while you're picking it up, then you have to turn it off. If you try to engage it while it's already running, you will strip the gears and cause a lot of problems. So again, tilt it to the side. Now for cheesecake, I blended 45 to 60 seconds for the fill. Okay, now I will get the crust out of the refrigerator, out of the freezer. And we'll pour this into it. All right, you can see it's firmed. It's not soft as it was. We'll pour the fill in. See how nice it just pours into there? Now we're going to stick this in the freezer. This will be in the freezer about 20 minutes, maybe less, and it will firm. Okay, this is the topping for the cheesecake. Now we have some blueberries. Clean them in good water just in case they grow up near a farm, factory area or something like that. Now this is very thick cream. It's going to be like whipping cream. Now, anything that's mixed with berries, it's going to harden. The pectin in the berries will cause it to firm like gelatin. So what we have to do is, as soon as we get this prepared to blend, and I'll just use a little bit of honey. You don't need much honey because the blueberries are already sweet. But the honey will help the cream to digest. Now, if I don't get the pie plate here ready now, with the ingredients hardened from the freezer, and I take the time to go over and get it out of the freezer, this will already be too hard to pour in to the pie, to the cake dish. So I'm going to go get the cake, cheesecake. See here? 20 minutes, firm, hard. Remember how liquid that was? Now we're going to blend the berries and the cream. So we're going to have berry whipped cream. I'm going to do it on slow, because if I do it fast, I'll do it on slow medium. If I do it fast, it's going to whip hard too quickly before enough berries and the honey gets mixed. About 30 seconds only. Do it longer than that and it might turn into butter. Now right now it's still creamy, and I will pour it in to the pie plate. In a few minutes this will harden. Now I'm going to put this in the freezer again and then let it sit for about 3 minutes. And here it is. That's only 3 minutes, folks, and you see it's solid. Pretty good. And it will taste delicious. Now we can always take some blueberries and put them on the top. You can make a happy face or do whatever you want. I'm just throwing them around.